Japan has been affected by a magnitude 9.1 earthquake. The quake triggered a tsunami devastating millions and killing over 250,000 people. After the quake and the tsunami, a cooling system failure occurred at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, causing 3 explosions and a level 7 nuclear meltdown in 3 of the 6 nuclear reactors. The explosions also triggered radioactive materials to be leaked from the plant. And more from Lindsay, who is reporting miles from the power plant.
Thanks, Katie. Right now I'm standing in Japan just miles from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, as it has been deemed unsafe to stay in the area. It's a little after 8 in the morning, only hours after what has been the 3rd explosion to the reactors in just 4 days. As many as you know, an earthquake with a magnitude of 9.1 caused extreme damage to all of Tokyo, especially the Tokyo Electric Power Company this past Friday. 30-foot waves from the tsunami caused many generators to flood, shut down, and fail altogether. Officials claim that from there, the rest of the problems at the plant ensued. As the reactors heated up, without the power from the generators to cool them down, explosions in the plant have been occurring and injuring workers scrambling to fix all of the problems. I've been told that the U.S. has decided to move their ships and planes because of the levels of radiation they've been detecting throughout the morning. What's Japan's comment on this? Chief Cabinet Secretary Yuriko Nagano hints at the possibility of further damage to the plant as time progresses, claiming that there might be meltdowns at all 3 of the nuclear reactors. With the evacuation of 800 people from the plant, Nagano explains that the current radiation levels can impact human health, and he advises everyone within 20 to 30 kilometers to stay inside. Only those who are proceeding with emergency operations are allowed admittance to the plant. As morning progresses, we'll stay updated on current warnings and events.
Here is what the plant looked prior to the earthquake, tsunami, and explosions. You can see the 6 reactors all intact. Reactors 1, 2, and 3 exploded. 4 caught fire. This is a model of one of the nuclear reactors. In reactors 1 and 3, a hydrogen explosion occurred because of the lack of power. The venting system that was supposed to vent steam, noble gases, and aerosols, as well as hydrogen, failed. In result, the hydrogen mixed with air and caused an explosion. Our helicopters captured this picture after the 1st and 3rd explosions. In Unit 2, because of lack of power, the water level dropped for the backup cooling system. From there, core damage occurred. It is estimated that most of the radioactive materials are being released from Unit 2.
Alright, we're back. Since we reported earlier this morning, we've gotten word of a fire breaking out in one of the cooling ponds for the 4th reactor. Japanese Prime Minister Naoto Kan explains that the risk of radioactive materials contaminating the public has increased, but he urges them to stay calm as they search for a solution. I'm here with a worker from a plant who has been told to evacuate and stay indoors as this tragedy unfolds. Mrs. Tamura, could you please explain what you were feeling at the time of the earthquake on Friday and how your co-workers reacted around you?
So at the time of the crash, I know we all felt scared and were unable to stand. Some people hid under their desks, others thought about saving some of the computers and monitors and work they were completing, and they held those down at the time. Almost all their ceiling tiles fell along. I remember being scared for my family, wondering if they were okay. I didn't really think about the nuclear reactors being damaged. That came after once I got news of the tsunami.
After that, how did everyone reorganize? When did you figure out how much risk you were in with all of the reactors?
All the cell phones were down, so we couldn't contact our families. The first thing we noticed was the fact that the power was out and we needed to see the readings for the reactors. We were asked to go out after the tsunami hit and grab our car batteries. Someone figured out that if we had enough of them, we could power the monitors and accurately assess the damage as well as the radiation risk. A loss of power immediately clued us in on the danger. If the generators didn't work, neither did the cooling systems. I think that's when the first explosion occurred.
Wow, that must have been a horrible realization. Now that the Prime Minister has released news due to the radiation risk and you've been asked to evacuate, how do you feel? What do you think this means for your family?
I worry about losing my home the most. My husband and I live so close to the factory that we fear that staying indoors isn't enough. I think that eventually we'll be asked to leave our homes to stay safe, and it'll be rough for a while. We'll have to make a whole new life and worry if we were contaminated while living there. The growing risk and continuous explosions and fires make it seem like we are far from having this under control.
I think that's how many of the workers are feeling, as well as many people across Japan. Thank you for your time. Now to the newsroom with our specialists as they speculate as to how this tragedy will be resolved. Katie?
Okay. I'm Katie Smith, back in the studio, looking a little different but providing the same quality news. I'm here with Dr. Lamastro, an expert on the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Dr. Lamastro, you've been keeping close tabs on the tragedies unfolding at the plant, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So how do you expect these problems to be fixed?
Well, I know that the International Atomic Energy Agency has released a statement claiming that the radiation levels at Fukushima exceeded 167 times the annual dose of radiation produced. So the first thing that needs to occur is containing the radioactive materials, and the workers need to focus on keeping the reactors cool.
And so how do the workers plan on achieving this?
So the Tokyo Electric Power Company has sent out helicopters to pour water on the nuclear power rods in an attempt to stop the fires. It's important to keep the plant, especially the nuclear fuel rods, intact to prevent substances like radioactive cesium from contaminating the air, land, and water. However, one of the biggest issues they face is rendering the entire plant useless if they drench all of the reactors. That would result in years' worth of rebuilding, and if the emergency efforts and procedures fail, communities surrounding the plant will have to be completely abandoned because they have risk high levels of exposure to radioactivity.
So do you expect Japan to be greatly affected by the events at Fukushima?
Workers at the malfunctioning reactors have already suffered significant exposure to the leaking radioactive material. At least 20 people are showing negative symptoms as a possible result of contamination. And because the radioactive material continues to be released from the plant, I would expect several deaths, in all honesty. And if the workers or families surrounding the risk zone have the opportunity to relocate, I would highly suggest doing so.
Well, thank you so much for your input and for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, it looks like we're all out of time. Thank you all so much for joining us, and I'm sure we will be providing you up-to-date news on the events unfolding at Fukushima. Thank you.